The defending champion on the front row, once again ready to go green with the rookie on his outside, Brandon Fetterplace, starting in that second position, and the pride of Greensburg, Kentucky, rolling off in third as the green flag is out in Las Vegas. We are racing TNT. And defending champion Aiden Norman out to an early lead. Brandon Fetterplace, the rookie, in the second position. And the pride of Greensburg, Kentucky, followed by what is his neighbor, Briley Wright, in that 2-9. Just ahead of Weehawken, New Jersey's Thomas Andrews. Tom Sears to the outside, and Jimmy Kerr following in line. 7th place behind that 1-4 Supra. And another one of those Bluegrass Bandits sitting in that 8th position. Cody Riggs gaining 2 spots from the start. Landon in the chat saying 8:29 or 3. Anyone but the 6'2", and the 2-time on course to be 3-time Thursday Night Thunder champion. And soon enough, if he plays his cards right, NASCAR Pro Series driver. Tentatively, he's going to start his role next year. Aiden Norman leading over Brandon Fetterplace, and then Toby Estes bringing up that 3rd position, caution-free in the first few laps of racing. Thomas Andrews trying to hold off Jimmy Kerr, the 3rd. Cody Riggs in 8th. Nicholas Simpson in the 9th position, the Costco Chevrolet. Just ahead of John Honeybrink by 1 second coming out of that second corner, and the number 20. Charlie Brown, Halloween. What the hell do they call this thing? The Great Frickin' Pumpkin or something like that? He's sitting in the 10th position right now. Josh Garrison in some new colors. That number 18 Mobil 1 Camry sits ahead of the Bahamian. Elrich George in his number 40 Caterpillar colors. And Noah Belleville will not start this race despite having registered for practice. Not a game. Not a game. We're talking about practice. Thomas Andrews coming up behind Briley Wright. And what a homeowner this guy is now. Just... He got his first house. He recently got married. And this new homeowner sitting behind the 2-9 of Briley Wright. In that 5th position, the 2-time champion and the winningest TNT driver until this guy showed up. And they do say records are meant to be broken, but at this point, Aiden Norman going for every record he can get his hands on. And he's tearing up not only the roster this season, and in this competition, but on the A-squared side of things as well. He's got a couple of wins, and he's doing fantastic in all the series he's running. So Aiden looking to get a couple more trophies before he climbs on to the next chapter here. It's going to be an interesting season for the rest of this field. Briley Wright 2nd in those point standings coming into this race. Right now, Briley finds himself in the 4th spot behind in front of the 2-time champion, Tom Sears. Briley and Tom Sears separated by 19 points. Briley in 2nd, Tom in 5th. But Sears has to get through Andrews and Fetterplace. And what more can we say about this rookie right here? The driver of that 3-4 Camry, Brandon Fetterplace, comes into TNT, holds a consistent 3rd position in the points, despite the average finish of 5th. He's got an average start of 7th as well. I mean, this guy has just got consistent top 5s all over the place. And the rookie showing off. What more can we say? Tom Sears just ahead of Briley Wright. Thomas Andrews getting really loose in turn number 3. Jimmy Kerr has the advantage out the corner. Kerr on the outside in that 7.5. Andrews just trying to hold the line together. These cars, all this horsepower. All this horsepower. And they're going to struggle to get through these corners for sure. Andrews on the inside, Kerr on the outside coming off turn number 4. The sun just starting to set here at Las Vegas. Tom Sears in the 14 sits ahead of Briley Wright in the 2.9. Shade falling onto the racetrack. And it's just going to get cooler. Track's going to get more grip. We're 10 laps into this one. Aiden Norman ahead by what is a humble 1.3 seconds to Brandon Fetterplace. And if anybody can take down the 62 this week, it looks like that 34 of Brandon Fetterplace. Last week, the rookie putting in a sensational performance at Darlington, coming home with a second position. He's running in second right now. And while the run for the championship looks almost out of reach, almost, it is only a 67-point difference between Aiden Norman and Brandon Fetterplace. There are the points again by Drip Diecast and Collectibles. Anything is possible still. We got 6 races to go this season. Don't get it twisted. Aiden Norman doing a fantastic job. And if you just tuned in, you have not missed a thing. First 12 laps caution-free. Jimmy Kerr and Thomas Andrews are still going to be tugging away at each other going into turn number 1, and they will not let go. These guys are going to lock horns through the corner, and Jimmy Kerr almost spills the beans out of turn number 2. You saw him get really close to the wall, and he's cutting it real close, really close. And he's going to give up the position to Thomas Andrews in that number 2 off of turn number 4. The New Jersey native sneaks into spot number 6. Andrews just sneaks away into that 6th spot. Here's what the world looks like from car number 2. Thomas Andrews just pulling away in that 6th spot, right where he started car number 2, trying to get some space to himself. Meanwhile, John Honeybrink on the inside of one of the native sons of Greensburg, Kentucky. Cody Riggs in that number 3, sitting just ahead of John Honeybrink. Landon in the chat, big fan of Cody in that pink number 3 Good Wrench Chevrolet. Out of turn number 2, Honeybrink will try to get the run. Riggs will sail high. Honeybrink to the inside. They'll drag race into turn number 3. Car number 3 trying to cut off the space to that black, orange, and Charlie Brown colored 2.0 Pontiac. Out of that 4th corner, they just avoid contact as Honeybrink slides up the track. Landon talking about Toby Estes, who's moved up to the 2nd spot. He gets around Brandon Fetterplace. Let's have a look at that pass. Just out of turn number 4, Estes gets a great run. This is the lap prior, but you can see he's all over the back end of car 34. Gets to the inside. Toby just gets an awesome run out of turn number 2. He was just patient, just waiting, biding his time, and he makes it. And that's Toby Estes getting into Fetterplace for that 2nd position. Further on back, the rookie, the part-timer this season, Nicky Simpson, to the inside of Jimmy Kerr III in that 7.5. Kerr's got damage. Have a look at the 7.5 in the right front corner. JK3 has some damage to the right front of that Holler Boys TV Chevy, and he's going to have to hold on until the caution comes out. He's into the wall. Kerr's into the wall, and it's all starting to slip away for Jimmy Kerr III, and I am going to get banned if I play that any louder. That's the Bucks and the Bills. Still 0-0. Is that Kirk Herbstreit on the broadcast? There I go, getting in trouble again. Buccaneers already backed up into the end zone. Oh, snap. It was some sort of football play. I have no idea. Landon, you're going to have to help me out here with the sports and the football here, because I have no idea what's going on. Bucs were backed up to like their own 4-yard line. Baker Mayfield throwing it from halfway in his own end zone. Ball got tipped up and fell to the ground, so it's going to be incomplete, and Mayfield marches off the field unaccomplished. And speaking of unaccomplished, Jimmy Kerr III is going to feel mighty unaccomplished if he doesn't get this car fixed up. He's hanging on for dear life, but here comes John Honeybrink to take 9th place away from him. And Honeybrink watching Jimmy Kerr get up into the wall, and Kerr says, I'd like to damage this race car some more. He's getting loose. He's shaking it all over the place. This ain't a dance floor, Jimmy. It's a racetrack. He's shaking it and trying to stay off of that wall. And was the ball just intercepted? I think the Bucs intercepted the ball, and they're going to run it back to the Bills just intercepted the ball. They're going to run it back to like the Bucs 22. And the Bills, who are up 3-0, are now going to have 1st and 10 right on the edge of the red zone. And it was a punt return. All right. Go Bills, I guess. If you feel otherwise and want to voice what you think about the Bills and the Buccaneers, put it in the chat. I don't care. Briley Wright moving around Brandon Fetterplace. That's for 3rd. And these Bluegrass Bandits trying to learn this boy something. Fetterplace shaking it hard out of turn number 4. Using that draft, though. Getting right under the 2-9. What does the rookie have for Briley Wright? Briley, a TNT winner, and coming into this race, Briley sits 2nd in the points. Briley, what is that? What's the difference between 329 and 395? I don't know, but there's some gap there between Aiden Norman and Briley Wright. What is it, 64, 66 points. 66 points, the gap between 1st and 2nd. So Briley, he's up there trying to stay as close as he can, but now he's got to battle his own kin just to get up to the lead. Toby Estes only 1.5 seconds behind Aiden Norman, and this is abnormal for the 2-time TNT champion, the defending TNT champion, if I may. 1.6 seconds ahead of Toby Estes, considering he's won many races this season by 15 seconds or more. Aiden Norman only 1.5 seconds ahead of Toby Estes. Is he sandbagging? Is he not doing so hot tonight? Is something wrong with that 6'2"? Briley Wright the same distance behind Toby Estes. So Toby's got to be driving out of both ends. He's looking out the front and the back. And the rookie Brandon Fetterplace still holding on. But like Landon said, 34 is dropping back. Bluegrass for the win. And you can tell Landon hedged his bets on the 8, the 29, and for some reason, the 3. And Cody Riggs, who is fighting with Nick Simpson here for the 7th position right now, just to the inside of Nicky. Another Northeasterner, Nicky, from Tallinn, Connecticut. He's got a sweet Ducati as well. If you know Nick Simpson, you know that Ducati 1098S Tricolore. He's something else. He really is. Simpson to the inside of Cody Riggs, trying to get 7th back, and Cody says, go away. What is it, 1st and 10 now for the Bills? 11:50 to go. Bills on like the 11-yard line. Allen's going to scramble. And he's going to gain like 3 or 4 yards. All right, Josh Allen. Now it's going to be like 2nd and 7. Still 3-0 for Buffalo. They come into this game 4 and 3. Buffalo has 3 losses this season. All right, fins up. Buffalo's got 3 losses this season. That's fantastic. Oh, crap, drivers are pitting. Aiden Norman is coming in. Toby Estes behind him. So the race leader is in. And that means this guy right here, 2-time champion, Tom Sears, new leader, the homeowner, car 14. Just ahead of Thomas Andrews. Cody Riggs rolling in that 3rd spot. Jimmy Kerr III will overtake himself into 6th. But now Sears, who's got that reputation for staying out as long as possible, he's coming in right now. Thomas Andrews will do the same. Cody Riggs will do the same. Nick Simpson will follow suit. Honeybrink, Kerr, everybody's coming down. Even Elrich George, who's going to get sideways on the way into the pits. And I might be wrong about this. I'm wrong about a lot of things. But I think that's the first time this season that a pit cycle will begin and end in 3 laps, and that's it. All drivers coming in between laps 27 and 29, I suppose. Well, Josh Garrison pitted on lap 25, but we won't count him. Aiden Norman back to the lead. New leader car 6-2. Toby Estes coming out of the pits some 2.6 seconds behind Aiden. Landon hoping for a good stop, and he had a great stop. Aiden Norman 14.73 seconds. Toby Estes 15.28. Let's bring up the pit stop time. Toby Estes gaining 1 spot in the pits, but the question has to be asked, where is Briley Wright? 2.5 seconds behind Toby Estes. So Briley losing approximately a second on that pit cycle, as did Toby Estes. And I think that just speaks more to Aiden Norman, just the way he attacks pit lane. Doing a brilliant job right now in that 6-2. 2.8 seconds the gap there, although Toby Estes did go green. 29.62 seconds for the Bluegrass Bandit. Briley Wright in third. Brandon Fetterplace, who we normally see with some of the best pit stop times, or pit lane deltas, this time still remaining in fourth. But drivers have spread themselves out a bit more now. The closest gaps on track, Briley Wright 1 second ahead of Fetterplace, and then Thomas Andrews, who's 1 second behind Tom Sears. Right now, Sears, our hardest charger of the race. He's up 3 places from where he started. He's in the top 5 right now. Tomo trying to do the folks back in Mass proud, and that 14 Arcs Supra now begins his 32nd lap of competition. Caution free so far. Bills and Bucks on a commercial right now. Landon, you got Bills or Bucks? Let me know what you think. Who do you like better, Buffalo or Tampa? And where's Dustin Painter for that fact? We haven't seen Dustin Painter in Thursday nights. TNT misses you, Painter. Get back here. Speaking of the Bucks, he's a big Buffalo fan himself. Nick Simpson getting close to Cody Riggs. This is the battle for 7th. Those two will fight on. Simpson looks like he might finally have some sort of advantage to the inside of Cody Riggs. Back to that Buffalo game. Looks like Buffalo scored a touchdown, so it's 10-0. Buffalo over Tampa Bay. 1st and 10. Who the hell has the ball? Oh, it's Tampa. Baker Mayfield will snap the ball. He's sitting on the 20-yard line. They're going to try and run it up the gut and gain 2 to 3 yards, so it's going to be 2nd and something for Tampa. They're going to look to score here. Cody Riggs driving away from Nicholas Simpson in the Costco Chevrolet. Landon says he's got a 12-leg parlay with a few Tampa players in on it. Not a big football guy. You're a football guy. If you have a 12-leg parlay with Tampa players in on it, you're definitely 12 legs? Let me just spell that out here. 12-leg parlay. Anyway, I hope it hits. I hope your bet hits. Toby Estes bet on himself. He's doing fantastic in that 2nd position. 2.5 seconds ahead of his Bluegrass Bandit partner, Briley Wright. The neighbors from Greensburg, Kentucky, sitting in second and third right now. Shout out to everybody over at Greensburg. Shout out to the folks at Smokey's Bar, Landon as well. Everybody out there in Greene County. Shout out to the whole damn state. Shout out to Kentucky. Go Cats if that's your thing. And if not, then I'll let these guys deal with you. I don't care. I like Miami, who's not doing so hot at them. We were doing fantastic. What happened? We had a great season. And you know what? I don't even, let's not talk about that because I'm going to get mad. Landon, Cats fan, how are the Wildcats doing this season? How's basketball season shaping up? You got to know something about that. Cody Riggs at the back end of the Bluegrass Bandits three-way train, and Nick Simpson wants to get in on that three-way. He's trying to take over Cody Riggs here. This is the battle for 8th. 0.2 of a second separates them. Tom Sears sitting in 5th with Thomas Andrews looming in the distance. Landon says, I'm interested in money. And if football does that, consider me a football fan. He's a football fan. You got to give it to him. 90 laps to go this time by Aiden Norman. 3.2 seconds ahead of Toby Estes, who's going to drift up out of the way. Briley Wright will also come and meet the wall out of turn number 4. Brandon Fetterplace, over the last 5 laps, this has been the gap between him and Briley Wright. Nicky Simpson behind Cody Riggs, still 1/4 of a second. Landon admitting he's a Birds fan. Not a Wildcats guy like the rest of the Bluegrass Bandits. He's a Cardinal fan. He says it's because the Cats fans do the most. I can't be around them. Well, all right. I'm not going to say anything. I don't know none about Kentucky rivalries. I'm going to keep my mouth shut on this one. But Landon, good luck to you. He's talking about Toby Estes staying consistently 3-ish behind that 62, and he says hopefully we have something for him on a restart. If we get a damn restart, 43, now 44 laps underway. Caution-free, fewer than 90 to go, approaching 85 remaining. It is 2nd and 18 for Tampa Bay. It might as well be 2nd and 18 for everybody that's not Aiden Norman. 3 seconds the gap now between 1st and 2nd spot. Nick Simpson keeps knocking on Cody Riggs' door, and right now he's going to see if the pink guy is going to open up. The number 3, Good Wrench Chevrolet, into that first corner, up 2 places from where he started. Tom Sears, still our race's hardest charger. The number 14, Arcs Racing Supra, out of that 4th corner. Following Brandon Fetterplace to the tune of 1.5 seconds. Now, Tom Sears has been catching up to Fetterplace. There you see, consistently, over the last 5 laps, Tom Sears has been chipping away at Brandon Fetterplace's gap. It's now to 1.4 seconds, but Thomas Andrews has been closing in on Thomas Sears. So, kind of an accordion effect that we're going on, where the 2 cars moving quicker than the 14, and the 14's moving quicker than the 34, but we're going to see who's moving quickest before this next round of pit stops. Expect these guys to come down in approximately 7 to 8 laps. Last time around, Tom Sears was able to extend his run to lap 28. Aiden Norman only lap 27. If it stays green to the end, we could see something where Tom Sears might just have the advantage on laps. But of course, the great equalizer, the caution, may just step in front of all of this and throw a wrench in everybody's plans. But that last time around, Sears 0.3 of a second quicker. And we'll see just how long it lasts. The gap now 0.8 of a second. Nicky Simpson 0.6 behind Cody Riggs. Jimmy Kerr now catching up to John Honeybrink to the tune of 0.6. Fetterplace has got to watch his back. The pride of Greene County in the number 8 camouflage Budweiser Chevrolet. Toby Estes 2 seconds now behind Aiden Norman, and there is the gap over the last 5 seconds. Estes consistently catching up to Norman. However, pardon me, my zesty drink causing me to have a burp. Don't want to burp right into the microphone and through your phone screen. I don't want to be rude. Aiden Norman on lap number 50, really loose out of turn number 4. Something just not gelling with that 6-2. This last time around, Toby Estes will cross the line 1/10 quicker than Aiden Norman, and he'll shave the gap to within 2 seconds. Given his performance all season long, you could forgive somebody for thinking that Norman might be sandbagging. Josh Garrison will kick off the second round of green flag pit stops. Toby Estes will follow suit. Briley Wright slowly starting to reel him in, but the gap just too strong. There's Norman, your race leader, this time across the line. 31:36. Toby Estes, 31:25. 1.9 seconds the gap, but at this rate, it won't be enough for Estes to consistently catch up to Norman. And why? Because Aiden Norman attacks pit road better than Toby Estes. It is a fact. We have seen it. Toby Estes has got to get his pit attack stronger than Norman. However, he runs the risk of getting a penalty. And at this stage of the race, a penalty for Estes ends his run for victory. That's it. It could go green to the end. If it doesn't go green to the end, Estes is in this race. But given the last 53 laps that these 12 cars have turned around here, it will stay green, and it will be down to the pit road attack. It could be down to that last run again, but again we look at Aiden Norman, 1.8 seconds ahead now of Toby Estes. The times, they get closer, and the anxiety just gets higher this last time around. Estes, almost a tenth quicker. Briley Wright, a tenth slower than Toby Estes. Here's this Bluegrass Bandit in the 2.9 Good Wrench Chevy. The podium has separated themselves 3 seconds between the top 3 and the rookie. The 34 of Brandon Fetter placed 9/10 ahead of Tom Sears. Back to the Thursday night football game, showing a video of Josh Allen running and landing on his shoulder. I don't know, maybe Josh Allen's hurt, who knows. Oh, Toby Estes is pitting, Brandon Fetter places in. Aiden Norman will stay out. But Estes, I don't know if he's trying to undercut Norman. Knowing that Norman is slower, Estes may be doing the right thing. Now, watch Aiden Norman come into the pits here. We're on lap 55. Norman, is he coming in? He's slowing down, and he's on his way in. Aiden Norman doing the brilliant thing, doing the smart thing, trying to attack pit road. He almost locks up the tires on his way in. Car 62 decides to come down. Car 14 will stay out, and your new leader is Tom Sears. On board with the 1-4. Sears stays out. He's being brave, but for how long? Last time around, 31:67, his time. Aiden Norman just coming out of the pits now in 6th. Toby Estes in 7th. There is Estes within 1 second to Aiden Norman. Tom Sears between them. Sears now on his way in. Oh, Tomo, he slid it, and Thomas Andrews has slid it. 3 Thursday Night Thunder championships going sideways into the pits. Sears gets it down to 55 miles an hour. John Honeybrink next in line to come in. Aiden Norman, 9/10 of a second ahead of Toby Estes. Does Estes put his foot on the gas? He's reeled Norman into within 1 second. There's still 72 laps to go next time by. Toby Estes does not have to push the issue. He's consistently catching up to Norman. But again, Norman, with this very unusual position that he's in, where he has competition reeling him in, is the 6-2 sandbagging? Has he lost control of the race car? Estes looking to reel him in and be the first winner this season not called Aiden Norman or Noah Belleville. 6 wins to Norman this season. 3 wins to Noah Belleville. Aiden Norman taking all the candies home last week from Darlington. Landon looking for pit times. And I'll shut up for 5 seconds so we can at least look at these pit times, because that's pit lane time. Let's look at pit stop time. I'm actually interested myself. And there are the numbers over the last stint. Aiden Norman spending 45.1 seconds in pit lane. Toby Estes, 46.6. And there's your pit stop time, the last time through. Aiden Norman, 14.93. Toby Estes, slower by 0.4, 15.32 that last time around. So if the pit lane and pit stop times are in Aiden Norman's favor, that tells you right there. Norman better on pit lane, perhaps not as good on the exit. Toby Estes also going with the undercut, and that's what that can do for you. Estes recognized he was faster than Aiden Norman before the green flag pit stop. Estes came in, he left Norman out for one more lap, and that one more lap was slower than Toby Estes' exit lap. The long and short of it is that Toby Estes was faster than Aiden Norman and stayed faster than Aiden Norman on the racetrack, more than what Aiden Norman could offset by attacking and being quicker down pit road. And that is why the gap is 0.9 of a second. That number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet, the pride of Greene County, and the deer of everyone's eye over at Smokey's Bar in Greensburg, Kentucky. Toby Estes. 1 second the gap. And everybody who has loved Thursday Night Thunder and has watched a Thursday Night Thunder race for a while has known that Aiden Norman has been dominant today. But you could not blame a fan for wanting to see a new name on top of the podium. Landon talking about those smarts that Toby Estes possesses. 1 second has been the consistent gap, however. Toby not really able to carve that time, but maybe, just maybe, 2 things are going on. Aiden Norman could be putting his foot down a bit harder. If he has been sandbagging, this would be the time to go a little faster. Toby Estes could be saving what he's got. If he knows he's quicker than Aiden Norman, now is not the time to push the envelope. Drivers first pitted on lap 27. They then pitted on lap 55, consistently about 27 to 28 laps apart. Quick math will tell you. Drivers will be pitting approximately lap 83, right around the early 80s. And from there, still 1 more pit stop to the end. There's going to be 2 more green flag pit stop cycles if the race goes green to the end. Toby Estes does not need to push the issue. Let's talk about a driver that has been pushing. Josh Garrison started in 9th. Right now up to 6th, and if he passes Tom Sears, he will be this race's hardest charger. The 18 car, that mobile Chevrolet, now behind the 2-time champion. Let's go on board with Garrison. Landon gambling on another 15 laps, and Toby Estes opening it up a bit more. He'll catch Aiden Norman, but the times will tell you now. 1.7 seconds the gap over the last 5 laps. Toby Estes just slower than Aiden Norman by about 0.2 of a second every single time. Norman throws down the gauntlet, and he says, Toby, catch this. And there is that time delta over the last 5 laps for these drivers. You can see Norman just consistently starting to get a bit quicker over these last 5 laps. Toby Estes just trying to stay up there, just trying to stay within competition. Plenty of race to go. 69 laps about to be completed at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That's going to leave us with 61 laps remaining. Looking at the Bills and Buccaneers game, looks like it's another massive run for Buffalo. They're going to be on their own 43-yard line. Right now it's 10-10, so the Buccaneers have scored. 6 minutes to go in this second quarter. It's going to be a completed pass for the Bills. It's going to be a first down and then some, so it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bills on the Bucs' 43-yard line. They're marching towards the end zone with 5:50 remaining in that second quarter, looking to get themselves another score before this one is up. Some crafty time management by the Bills. Let's take a look at where the drivers are quicker, where the drivers are slower. Toby Estes. Looks like he's just not quicker than Norman all around the whole racetrack. There's not a specific part of the racetrack where Toby is faster than Aiden. Looking at these times, Aiden Norman just consistently quick around the whole racetrack. Toby Estes going to have to find an advantage somewhere. Somewhere he's going to have to find this advantage. Further on back, here's another Bluegrass Bandit who's in the competition. What in the hell is Cody Riggs doing? He just went all the way to the apron down on the backstretch. Can we see that one more time? I'm going to have to back this up here, but what happened to the 3-car? Oh, he just hit the wall. All right, as expected, but he did just hit the wall out of turn number 2. There we go. He gave it a nice little scrape, nice little hi, how you doing? And the race leader behind the both of them, Aiden Norman, now overtakes Nick Simpson, and he puts the 46 a lap down. Now looking to put the 3-car a lap down. 73 laps underway of the scheduled 160. Buffalo Bills continue to march down the field. Going to be 1st and 10. Cook just coming off a run there. Buffalo on the Buccaneers' 32-yard line and looking to put 6 more up on the board. Cody Riggs still on the lead lap for now. We've been caution-free for all 74 laps of this race, if you just have tuned in. Aiden Norman leading by his biggest gap of this race, 3.4 seconds. And if the race were to end now, that would be one of the smallest gaps Aiden Norman has won by this season. Estes in the number 8, not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. 3.5 seconds the gap. Norman, honestly, just could have been saving his stuff the entire first half of this race. After 2 green flag pit stops, he might just like the way the car feels now. The 6-2 trying to put the 3 a lap down. Tom Sears within 1 second to Brandon Fetterplace, and over the last 5 laps, Sears has been consistently quicker than Fetterplace. The last time through, it was a 10th and a half. This time through, the clock says wow, 2.5 tenths almost. Tom Sears reeling in Fetterplace like a skinny little fish. Let's go on board with that 14 car. Half a second the gap between first and second. 2 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the Buffalo-Tampa Bay game, and the Bills now up 16-10. They just scored. Bills will be putting some more points on the board here. Nick Simpson coming out of the pits in that number 46 Costco Chevrolet. On lap 79, he could have just started this next round of pit stops. Tom Sears within 0.3 of a second to Brandon Fetterplace. Landon in the chat saying, he played me like a damn fiddle. I really was thinking one of the Bandit boys had a chance. And John Honeybrink, he's going to give himself less of a chance by deciding to scrape alongside of the wall. And speaking of one of those Bandit boys, there he is. Toby Estes in that number 8 Chevrolet. He's going to open up green flag pit stops on lap number 80. Aiden Norman. He will stay out, and he will put Toby Estes a lap down. And my theory, this is just a guess, is that Norman may have been sandbagging the first half of this race, just trying to save his stuff for the end. And, I mean, really, brilliant strategy. Giving Toby Estes a reason to use his stuff up in the first half of this race, if he still has the car to compete in the second half of this race. Still plenty of racing to go. We're inside the final 50 laps of competition. Aiden Norman will come into the pits in the number 6-2 Logitech Dodge. He's going to come flying in, but he looks like he's going to get it woed down in time. Briley Wright, will he also follow suit? He will. The 2-9 Goodwrench Chevrolet will come into the pits. Brandon Fetterplace from Cincinnati will stay out. The rookie taking a gamble. Car 34, Brandon Fetterplace, new leader at Las Vegas. Tom Sears up into that second position. Thomas Andrews into third. Aiden Norman still motionless while his pit crew in suits discusses what their plan is. They're going to come out onto, well, he's going to come out onto the racetrack. Landon asking how many laps they can get on fuel. Well, the Drip Diecast and Collectibles Track Facts estimates 25 to 35 laps, closer to about 28 laps of gas. So Aiden Norman now pitting here on lap 81. Quick math will tell you he'll get up to about lap 108, 109. And even then, he'll have just enough fuel to make it to the end. Toby Estes now 2 seconds behind Aiden Norman. Last time through, Toby Estes, 30.30 seconds. His pit lane time, 42.2 seconds. Compared to Aiden Norman, Toby Estes was 2.5 seconds quicker on pit road. His pit stop time, 3 seconds quicker than Aiden Norman. What made that 3-second difference? But the gap now, 2.6 seconds, opening up to 3 seconds. Not sure. But Aiden Norman seems to be opening up that can one more time. He's sitting in fourth. 6 seconds behind this driver here, Greensburg, Kentucky's Cody Riggs of the Bluegrass Bandits. 6 seconds ahead of Aiden Norman. Briley Wright trying to catch up to John Honeybrink. He caught up to John Honeybrink, and he passed John Honeybrink right up to 7th. Oh, you just heard Tom Sears rev the engine. Listen to him cut the engine into turn number 1. He's saving all the fuel he can. Tom Sears will come in. He's going to go really wide, and all that fuel saving that's the second time in a row, by the way, that Tom Sears has done that coming into pit lane. Let's see if we can find the first time he came into pit lane. Watch this. Well, no. How about this? That happened the first time? Yep, there it is. Tom Sears into the pit lane the first time. There's Thomas Andrews behind him. And now this most recent time into the pits. Tom Sears will go for another little sideways spin. So Sears gives up the lead. He will come out of pit road in the 7th position. Aiden Norman back to the top spot. Thomas Andrews in second will come into the pits, and 5 seconds and counting. 6 seconds now for Aiden Norman. He breaks away from Toby Estes. Coming up to 40 laps to go. Aiden Norman, 6.5 seconds now ahead of Toby Estes. Nicky Simpson, 6 seconds behind Tom Sears. Cody Riggs with a decidedly sour note in his engine. Just doesn't sound as high revved as the 46. Possibly coming off the wall again. Jimmy Kerr III getting wide out of that second corner. Thomas Andrews giving up positions. Toby Estes gets around him. Nick Simpson gets into the 7th spot. The rookie, the part-time rookie. Three seconds now the gap between Nick Simpson in 7th, Thomas Andrews in 8th. Tom Sears on an island, 6 seconds to the front and back. Aiden Norman on a bigger island because it's 8 seconds now the gap between him and Toby Estes. Landon saying, mind-boggling how he consistently pulls on second place. And again, just my theory, Aiden Norman was saving his race car in the first half of the race, and look at him now. And last week, Aiden Norman announcing that he's going to be making his run for the Pro League. I think he has to start in some contender, this or that, and he's got to race with some guys over here and some ladies over there, and I don't know. He's going to be doing something. But he's starting his climb up to that NASCAR iRacing Pro League. At least that's what he said last week. We'll see. We'll see what he says this week as well. But 40, they're now 39 laps to go. Tom Sears just went a lap down, so that leaves Josh Garrison in 5th, by the way. Where did that come from? He started 9th. He's doing fantastic. Up to that 5th spot. He's having the race of his season, arguably. There's Brandon Fetterplace, who's in 4th. The Bluegrass Bandits, or 2 of them at least, in that podium. Toby Estes in 2nd, Briley Wright sitting in 3rd, Aiden Norman to the tune of 9 seconds ahead of the field. 9.3 and climbing over the last 5 laps. There's the gap. 5/10 quicker last time. 5/10 before that, 7/10, and almost 1 second faster on lap 88. Has Toby Estes lost the plot? Because Briley Wright is now within 4 seconds to him. And there's Briley, who has been consistently quicker than Toby. So it is as much Aiden Norman as it is Toby Estes. Briley Wright is keeping up big time, and Brandon Fetterplace now reeling in that Bluegrass Bandit as well. Look at the gaps between Wright and Estes, and Fetterplace and Estes, and Fetterplace and Wright. Next time around, watch these times. Briley Wright, 2 1/3 tenths quicker than Toby Estes. Brandon Fetterplace, 3 tenths quicker than Briley Wright. Just fantastic what these drivers can pull together, and what a difference a pit stop can make. Looking at the Buffalo Buccaneers game, it's 17-10 Buffalo, 2nd and 9 now. Coming up for the Bucs with, I think, under a minute to go in this second quarter. Josh Garrison being overtaken by Tom Sears. I don't know if Garrison gambled or what, but he last pitted on lap 75. That would tell you that Josh Garrison will make it to approximately 102, 6 laps before the rest of his partners. But look at Tom Sears. He last pitted on lap 86. If he takes it all the way, like he did last time, as far as fuel length goes, Tom Sears, who doesn't have any competition, unlike Cody Riggs, who will overtake Nick Simpson for the 8th position. Tom Sears will have to pit a little after the leaders, but he's going to have to be a lot quicker to make up that difference. Lots of different pit strategies here, and of course the great equalizer, as we know, the caution. One yellow comes out, and all pit strategy goes right out the window. Speaking of Aiden Norman, there he is behind Josh Garrison. Miss Moneypenny in the chat cheering for Aiden Norman. And if you've just tuned in yourself, you have not missed a thing. Caution free for 97 laps of racing. Aiden Norman, 11.5 seconds ahead of Toby Estes. And again, Norman just, the gap was less than 3 seconds between this guy here and that guy there for the first 2 pit stops. Lap 58 comes around. We're now on lap 98. So it's been, well, and I can't count. When's the last time he pitted? Lap 91? 81. The gap was, what, 3 seconds when they came in? And now this time through, the gap is 12 seconds. Aiden Norman gaining to the tune of half a second a lap on Toby Estes. And this has been the gap over the last 5 laps between Toby and Briley. Briley no longer quicker than Toby Estes. Nope, I lied. There he is. I'm just reading it wrong because I can't read. Getting distracted by this NFL game. The Buccaneers going to send on Chase McLaughlin. 19 seconds to go. He's going to try and put 3 more points on the board to make it 17-13. But Briley still consistently quicker than Toby. Maybe Toby's just lost the juice. Maybe he just doesn't have the mojo in the race car anymore. But Briley, 2.8 seconds now coming up behind Toby Estes. 30 laps to go next time by. .3 seconds between the 2 Bluegrass Bandits. Lap 101 and now up on the board. Estes, 13 seconds now behind the race leader. His race has now become with this man here, Briley Wright. Looks like it was a delay of game for Buffalo, so now it's going to be 4th and 8 for the Buccaneers. And what was a field goal now will become a punt. We're talking about some good defense there. It's going to be a touchback, so Buffalo's going to get the ball back with 12 seconds to go in the second quarter. Not sure what they're going to do with that, but we'll find out here. Toby Estes only 2 seconds ahead of Briley Wright with 28 laps to go, and still 1 more pit stop on the horizon. It should be coming right around now, actually. Give it about another 4 to 5 laps, and we're going to see these guys dive into pit road one more time. 2 seconds the gap between Briley and Toby. They're getting closer to each other. That's Toby Estes on his way in. You heard him decelerating hard into the pits. Estes will bring his race car in, and now Briley Wright, 15 seconds behind race leader Aiden Norman, and 7, almost 8 seconds ahead of Brandon Fetterplace, who goes up to 3rd. Tom Sears, he's expected to make his pit stop later than anybody this time through. We'll see how that works out for him. Estes on his way out of the pits. The Bluegrass Bandit in the camouflage Budweiser Chevy out of the pits. Car number 8 in position number 8. Race leader still out on the racetrack. Toby Estes now out on the track. And if there's any chance for him to win this race at all, it has got to be now. The 8 car has got to put his foot down and try everything he's got to undercut the race leader. Norman going for 7 wins in 10 starts. Trying to increase that lead and just plant his flag further into the TNT world. Thomas Andrews, 7/10 of a second ahead of Cody Riggs. Nobody else has pitted in this race. Toby Estes will be stretching his fuel all the way to the very end. "24 laps to go for Estes." For the rest of the field, as a matter of fact. Everybody waiting on this guy to come down into the pits. Aiden Norman in the 6-2 will stay out. Last time around, Norman, 31-37. This last time through, we'll see what the clock says for Toby Estes. 31-40. 31-46 for Briley Wright. He also last pitted on lap 81. Wright now running almost consistent times with Toby Estes. Look at that gap. Aiden Norman on worn tires has shown a little bit of weakness. If there is a moment where Norman could slip up, this would be it. He's stretching the car as far as he can. He has not pitted in, by my count, 27 laps. Expect him to come in soon, if not this time by. It will be 21 laps to go. Each driver that pits now has enough fuel to make it to the end and does not have to save. And there is Aiden Norman. He's on his way in. Norman comes into the pits, gets it woed down to under 55 miles an hour. And he'll make sure that he comes into the pits. He attacks pit road, gets it down to about 51. And he's going to make his final pit stop of the night. Brandon Fetterplace sitting in third. Will he follow suit? He will not. Briley Wright also comes down pit road following the leader. Brandon Fetterplace will be the new leader, car 34, to the top of the tree. Tom Sears moves into second. That third Bluegrass Bandit in car number 3, Cody Riggs, he's in fifth. He's also going to stay out. And at this point, most people just gambling on that caution. Briley Wright comes down to a halt. Aiden Norman is back out on the racetrack. The defending champion, the race leader, the dominant driver sits in third. Brandon Fetterplace decides he's going to come in. Thomas Andrews goes green. 29.77 and a personal best today for the Season 4 champion. Tom Sears still your race leader, and if a caution comes out now, the gamble will pay off. 2:0 to go and 1-9 at the line. The native of Southampton, Mass, being scored as the race leader. A little bit of a gamble, but we're in Las Vegas. Why not? It's what's expected, yeah? Bills and Buccaneers at halftime. It's 17-10. Bills. Bucs weren't able to put in a field goal. And the Bills, they look like they've been dominant for the first half of this game. One driver who wasn't so dominant for the first half of this race was Aiden Norman, but after that second pit stop, he has really kicked it into gear. Last time around, 29.72 seconds for Aiden Norman. Toby Estes, 30.008. The guy who has really stuck with Aiden Norman all race long, this time through, just a few tenths slower. Cody Riggs decides he's going to come in. Toby Estes has made his pit stop and he will stay out. Lap times just not good enough. Last time around, Toby Estes, 0.7 of a second slower than Aiden Norman. The 6'2 has kicked it into high gear, and Sears' last hope is gambling on the yellow. Turn right into Toby. Ah, crap. I was going to say, turn right into, that's not Toby, that's Briley Wright. I was going to say, if he just turns right into Briley Wright, you know, it'd be against the rules. We'd have to have a difficult conversation later, but hey, it'd be some drama, right? Tom Sears still out on the racetrack, just ahead of Nicky Simpson. And the part-time rookie now trying to get around the Season 4 champion. Not for position. Simpson finds himself in the 9th spot, 1 lap off the pace. Aiden Norman within 7 seconds to Tom Sears, and Sears hoping that either 2 cars collide or a meteor strikes the earth. right here at the racetrack, and a caution comes out, and it's not going to happen before Sears comes into the pits. Race leader is in. Aiden Norman in the 6-2 will come around turn number 4 to recollect the race lead. And with 15 laps to go, Aiden Norman back to the top of the tree. Toby Estes, 8 seconds adrift. Riley Wright, 13 seconds behind Toby Estes. Simpson and Riggs, looks like they're going to have one more show before this one is over. Nicky Simpson reeling in Cody Riggs this last time around. 4/10 quicker with 15 laps to go. The math will tell you that Nick Simpson will overtake and pass Cody Riggs before this one is over, but still plenty of race to go. Who knows? Tom Sears now with the youngest tires on the racetrack. Lucky number 13 laps to go in Las Vegas, and the two-time champion pitting on lap 115 really has to push it as hard as he can. He's 7.5 seconds behind rookie Brandon Fetterplace, and it's 6 seconds from Fetterplace to Wright. Toby Estes, 12.2 seconds behind the race leader Aiden Norman, and it's going to be one more dirty dozen for Norman in Vegas. Looking at a closer arrangement here, Nicky Simpson behind Cody Riggs by 3.8 seconds. On board with Simpson, we're going to ride with Nicky for a couple laps around Las Vegas. Tom Sears, 8 seconds behind 4th place, but only 3.7 seconds ahead of Josh Garrison. Over the last 5 laps, Garrison trying to minimize the damage between himself and Tom Sears. Getting a little closer, right? But just, I mean, how close is he going to get? 4.20 seconds the gap between Garrison and Sears. Nick Simpson in that 46 ahead of the 2-0. John Honeybrink, who is blinking like a dying light bulb in the 11th position, and that dying light bulb is quicker than the 46 from Connecticut. Sears in the 14. Fetterplace in the 34, and looking at your top 3, coming to 6 laps to go. Briley Wright in the 2-9, catching up to Toby Estes in the 8, who is not catching up to Aiden Norman in the 6-2. Norman on pace to get his 7th win this season. And if Aiden Norman continues to win at the percentage that he has been winning, he will win 11 races out of 16 this season. And this is a guy who just knows how to win. It's impressive. 11 out of 16 is genuinely a percentage that just hasn't been seen And still plenty of racing to go, plenty of season to go. But as far as dominant performances go, what you cannot take away from Aiden Norman is the effort he puts in on the racetrack, the hours of practice, how hard he works to get to this level, the dedication that he puts in is the cause for results like this. This type of dominance does not come from out of nowhere. There is talent, and to quote Zinedine Zidane in an Adidas advertisement from years ago, this legacy isn't bought. This legacy isn't necessarily just given to. It's been paid for, and Aiden Norman has paid for this kind of success with the hours of practice and the dedication that he has put in. As much as we clown him, as much as, and we're his friends, we'll say it to his face all damn day, but as much as we clown this guy for how much he wins and how much he dominates and how much crap he catches because he wins all the time, make zero mistake that there is not a single person that understands the amount of practice he puts in correlates with the amount of success he sees on the racetrack. This level of success was not given to him. He paid for it with his hard work. And for a moment he blinked, and I thought his internet connection went away, and I thought he was going to be out of the race, and my little black cold heart soared in the sky. And I thought with 3 laps to go, Toby Estes was going to beat him. But alas, Aiden, you have teased us all yet again, dominating the first half of this race only by 3 seconds ahead of Toby Estes. Estes caught him to within 2 seconds. After the second pit stop, he put his foot down, and we never saw him again. 17 seconds now the gap between Aiden Norman and Toby Estes. Briley Wright 5 seconds adrift, and Toby starting to lose the plot. With 3 miles to go, Estes is slow, and Wright is reeling him in. Toby 9/10, almost 1/10 slower than the rest of the field, and almost contact with Thomas Andrews. And how would that have been for a late race caution? There is Noah Belleville, a.k.a. Moldy Muskrat, in the chat, who decided to abandon us before the green flag ever went away. So no one's going to talk to Noah Belleville. See ya, Moldy. Aiden Norman collected the white flag, and there he is coming through turns 3 and turn number 4. Thomas Andrews still has his race car together. Off of that third corner and into turn number 4. It's 7 wins in 10 starts. The dominance continues, and it's Aiden Norman winning at Las Vegas. Toby Estes will come home in the second position. Briley Wright, 3 seconds behind him in the 2.9. Fantastic drive. Brandon Fetterplace, the rookie, with another top 5. It's just uncanny now what this kid can do. And this guy right here, he has lit the TNT world on fire, and we'll be sad to see him go after this season here. But Aiden Norman will celebrate in style for now. The 6.2 Logitech Dodge does it again. And it will be a Polish victory lap for the native of Dobson, North Carolina. Aiden Norman will celebrate in one of the most traditional ways we've been seeing since the mid-90s. And we're going to have top 3 in the podium. Fans, don't go anywhere. Aiden Norman, Toby Estes, Briley Wright will join us on the podium in just a moment. Your winner tonight in Las Vegas, Aiden Norman. On the podium now with our top three, starting with two fellas from Kentucky and a guy that we're all sick of talking to. Briley Wright in the number 29 Good Wrench Chevrolet. Bronze medal tonight, and you keep your second place in the point standings. Good run for you tonight, man.
Yeah, felt good to finally put a whole race together. I don't think I've done. Kind of surprised that I'm even sitting in second place right now with the season that I've had. But past 2 years, I feel like I've kind of always turned it on towards the end of the season. So hopefully that's starting to happen now, and I can hopefully start finishing a little bit higher than better place. I know he's going to make it tough hanging on to this second place spot, but just feels good to finally put a whole race together.
Next week, you guys are coming to my house. We're going to the Michigan International Speedway. We'll see you in 7 days, man.
All right. See you, Rick.
Second place tonight from the wonderful town of Greensburg, Kentucky, their native son and one of the favorites of Greene County. Toby Estes, you brought home the camo Budweiser colors to a silver medal tonight. Great run.
Yeah, thank you. Hunting season, so kind of had to throw the camo in the car. Yeah, obviously didn't have the speed to keep up with Aiden. Tried just about every little trick in the book I could think of to kind of close the gap, but just didn't happen. 2 tires, if anybody was wondering, definitely was not worth it. So, yeah, I'll keep that in mind whenever I come to Vegas next year.
You get another chance next week at Michigan, man. Congratulations on that third place run. You're now up to 6th in the points. You get around Cody Riggs, and now Tom Sears is your next target. We'll see you in a week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Fans at home, if you loved any of the paint schemes you saw tonight, get your hands on one. There's this store on Facebook called Drip Diecast and Collectibles that brings us the points and the race facts, but they also bring you the chance to get your hands on a piece of NASCAR memorabilia. One of those diecasts that you really love, that really made a special memory for you. You can see some of those paint schemes that we've run here in tonight's race on Drip Diecast and Collectibles. The holidays are coming up. Treat yourself. Treat your friends. Treat those people that mean something to you. Treat the people you hate. If there's somebody you know that doesn't like Jeff Gordon, give them some little Jeff Gordon 164 for Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever the hell you want. But head on over to Drip Diecast and Collectibles. Get your piece of NASCAR memorabilia now. Let's talk to our race winner, Aiden Norman. 7 wins in 10 starts, Aiden. There really is nothing more we can say. You know, the same crap we say every week. Dominant performance. But next week we go to Michigan, and you're going to look to make it 8 wins in 11 starts. What is going on where you're just putting in these dominant performances? At one point, someone has got to beat you somewhere. Where's it going to be?
Well, I mean, technically, Noah Belleville's already beat me at a couple races. I think he's still the only other race winner.
We don't care about Noah Belleville. He decided to ditch us before the green flag, so forget him. Keep it moving.
I'm just as mad, to be honest, but at the same time, Toby really had me sweating here tonight, especially those first 2 or 3 stints, because he was always just sitting there kind of hovering around between 7/10 and 3 seconds. He'd go for the undercut, gain all that time back. I'd pull it right back because I had the fresher tires at that point. And then about the middle of the race, he just suddenly disappeared off my relative. And I guess what he said about taking 2 tires, I'm guessing that's what happened. But I probably spent as much time looking at my relative tonight as I was looking at the track, because he really, really got me worried there for a little while. But I was able to pull through, just kept it clean, minimal mistakes, and yeah, had good pace.
Putting up Jeff Gordon numbers right now in TNT. It's unbelievable, man. We're looking forward to next week at Michigan. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, Rick.
Fans at home, another TNT chapter is in the books. The Gen 4 series that you know and love keeps the circus rolling. Next Thursday night at the Michigan International Speedway. We can't wait to see you there. Don't forget, we're going to have the next gen race cars right here on Rick James TV. Next Monday night, we're going to be racing from North Wilkesboro. It will be something. Next gen cars at North Wilkesboro, so can't wait for that. So be here Monday night to catch that. And until that next race, everybody, please stay safe. Do take care of each other, and we will see